we're adding value to our clients, there's no doubt that we should be getting referrals. So I took a few notes here. The first thing I want to cover is that really, I believe the key into getting referrals is adding value to your clients' lives, giving them more than they expect. If you just do the bare minimum, if you just do the very, very basics, the bare minimum, you will definitely struggle at getting referrals. But if you're always going above and beyond, if you're always doing more than what you're getting paid for, trust me, people will be more than happy to give you referrals. They're going to want their friends and families to experience the same thing that they experience. That's why, again, in the in-home presentation, that's why I take so much time in the beginning before I just start throwing out numbers. I mean, we want to get to know these people. This is why when I do a presentation, for every presentation, if you notice in the in-home presentation, I've got the pre-sale folders set up. Okay, the pre-sale folder is all about adding value, and there's three ways. There's three things that I do to get referrals. The first one is utilizing the RX, the prescription discount card. You can use the same card that I use if you want to get the ones from YIG. That would be great. I think they provide about the same amount of discount. I've been using my carrier for a long time. I didn't switch over. I'm very happy with them. So if you guys want to if you want to plug into the same RX provider I'm using, that's fine. I will get you the cards for free. All you have to do is just pay for the shipping for them to get to your house, okay? And you can, email me later and let me know if you want some, RX prescription discount cards. The other thing that I use is the ERS system, also known as the Emergency Response Program, and I'll go over that in just a minute. And then there's another way to get referrals, and it's doing the client, the initial survey after you've made the presentation. Now this is something that I developed myself because I was always thinking, man, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way to just, boldly, there's got to be a way to ask for referrals without having to use, a card or emergency response system. But they all really, really work very, very well. The other thing that I've learned, and this is kind of the fourth thing that I've learned to get referrals, is that there's a little phrase that I say to every client during the presentation. I'll just say, Bob and Mary, let me ask you a question. Are you guys happy with the services and the value that I've provided with you today? And almost 100% of the time, they're always going to say yes. I said, well, that's great. But the thing about it is, Bob and Mary, there are people that you know and that you love and you care about that could benefit from my services. But the fact of the matter is, I can't help them unless you put me in touch with them. Does that make sense to you? And they're going to say yes. I say, great. Well, who's the first person that you'd like to put me in touch with? Okay. Now, a lot of times they'll come back, well, I'm not really sure. So the thing that we can do is that we can use like a memory jogger, and we can just roll right into it. So when I would make that phrase, who's the first person that you can put me in touch with, or you'd like to put me in touch with, I'll just pause for a second, and I'll have my pen out. And I said, Bob and Mary, let me ask you a question. Who do you know that is currently getting Social Security benefits? Okay, great. So if they're seniors, there's no doubt that they know other people that are getting Social Security funds. The other thing I could ask is, Bob and Mary, who do you know that's recently retired, or who do you know that's retired? Who do you know that has grandchildren? Who do you know that's recently lost a loved one? If I want to go on the medical side, Bob and Mary, I've got great discounts for diabetics. Who do you know that's a diabetic? Okay, Bob and Mary, who do you know that recently bought a home? Who do you know that recently had a child? Okay, here's a good one. Bob and Mary, who do you know that has plenty of life insurance? Okay, because a lot of times you ask for referrals And what they'll say is, well, I think everybody already has life insurance. Okay, so if you kind of, a way to combat that is just come back, say, Bob and Mary, out of curiosity, who do you know that already has plenty of life insurance? Okay, well, so and so. Well, why do you ask that question? Well, here's the thing: the people that already have life insurance, guys, a lot of times those are your best clients because they already believe in life insurance. So a lot of times it's easier to sell someone that already has life insurance because they believe in it, they know how to budget their money, than it is to sell life insurance to some broke person that doesn't have life insurance and really could care less. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask for referrals in that manner. So any quick questions so far? No? Okay, great. If you do, just interrupt, no big deal. The first thing I want to cover with you is utilizing the prescription, the RX discount. Now, when I do my in-home presentation, I talk about this right up front. If you want to ask for referrals up front, this is a great way to do it. You present the RX card and you say, explain to them this is going to save them money on their prescriptions. Then you can simply say, Bob and Mary, I'm allowed, you can sponsor up to 3 people to also receive the same card. Bob and Mary, who do you know that currently takes any type of medication? Or who do you know that's a diabetic? Okay, so this is a great way to use this right here. This is I'm holding this up to the camera. You guys can't see this, but this is the prescription RX discount card. Okay, it's a great way, and you can just take down their name and number, and then you can contact those folks. The other way to get referrals is using the emergency response system. This is something that I picked up from another marketing group. I think it's very ingenious. It works like a charm. And if you watch the in-home presentation, I do this at the end of my presentation. I'm gonna walk you guys through it right now. But basically, what it is, it's just a referral sheet. So after I've presented my product and I've written out my application and everything's all done, okay, I'm going to roll into my emergency response system, and it's going to be something like this. Bob and Mary, I need to talk to you guys about something very, very important. You made a great decision today to buy life insurance to cover your final expenses. You're doing your part. I want to make sure I can do my part, and that's the business side. This is when you do pass away. I want to make sure that I can deliver this check to your family as quickly as possible. Okay, Bob and Mary, there's something I want to share with you. You may not be aware of. I just found out this recently, but I found out that literally there are millions of dollars every year of unclaimed death benefits that never get paid to the family after somebody dies. And it's not because the insurance company doesn't want to pay the claim. It's simply because the life insurance company was never notified by the agent or a family member. It's a possibility that maybe the client, that they put the life insurance away in a drawer somewhere or is in a filing cabinet, safety deposit box, and nobody knew about it. I want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So my company, or you can say I put together something I call the emergency contact list. And this is a list of people that know you and care about you, and you trust them that they could simply contact me. This way, when you do pass away, I can have 5, 6, 7, or maybe even 10 people calling me to make sure that I get this death claim processed as soon as possible. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Bob and Mary, it's good that you give me as many names as possible. I like to get up to at least 10 names, because chances are I'm not going to get a hold of everybody anyway. Let's say I only get a hold of 5 people, and of the 5 people, let's say only 1 or 2 of them actually will take the initiative to save my information. That's why it's important to put at least 10 people on this emergency contact list. Bob and Mary, who's the first person that you'd like to put on your emergency contact list? And guys, at this point, you're just keeping your head down and you're just writing out the names and numbers. And preferably, you're getting people that are close, people that are local. Okay? And then simply once you get this list, then you can let your clients know, Bob and Mary, I'm simply going to reach out to these folks. I'm going to let them know that I'm your agent. I won't give them any personal information. I'll just let them know that I'm your agent, and if something were to happen, I'm going to ask them to store my contact information so they can contact me if there's a a death. Okay, so that's the emergency response system. Any questions or any comments about that? No, very good. And this just so you know, this recording will be posted later. I'm going to convert it to a YouTube video, and then I can send out a link, and I'll have it posted on my website later. Hopefully by next week. Okay, but I will have the link available later this weekend. And then the last way that I came up with to get referrals is using the client initial satisfaction survey. Okay, now this I can actually take credit for myself, because this I put together. The discount card and the emergency response system, I did not develop that. I did not invent those. I'm borrowing or copying from other people, but it's a phenomenal way to get referrals. This is another great way to get referrals, and it's just straight out asking for referrals, and I love it. Okay, I'm just going to hold this up to the camera so they can see that. And this is available on the website, and I can also email it to you. So if you noticed on the in-home presentation, when I'm doing that with LaTroy, at the end of the presentation, I just do a quick survey, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 basic questions that I'm asking my clients at the end of the presentation to make sure that they're completely satisfied. Okay, but the very last question may be the most important, because this is where I'm going to ask referrals, and it simply asks this. It says, Bob and Mary, based on your overall experience today, how likely would you be to recommend your senior advisor to a friend or family? You would not recommend, maybe recommend, definitely recommend. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. Almost 100% of your clients are going to say, in fact, I've never had anybody say they wouldn't recommend me. They're all going to say, oh, Joe, I would definitely recommend you. Well, thanks, Mary. I appreciate that. Most of my business does come from referrals. Who's the first person that you'd like to refer over? Okay. Now, this is where you may come into a stumbling block. They may say, well, I'm not really sure. No problem, Mary. Let me help you out. Out of curiosity, who do you know that's already receiving Social Security like yourself? Oh, that would be so-and-so. Okay, great. Who do you know that you think has lots of life insurance? Well, my sister said she had lots of life insurance. Great. What's her name? I can do a free policy review. Okay? And you simply use this, and you just keep asking and asking and asking until you get as many referrals as you can. Okay? The last thing I'm going to end up with, guys, is that getting referrals is awesome. But just getting the referrals does not make you money. Okay? The key to getting referrals is that you got to ask the right questions, but then you've got to do the proper follow-up with the referrals. You've got to make that phone call out to them. You've got to reach out to them. The one thing I got to tell you is that you have to be very careful when you're calling referrals. Make sure it's very soft, you're very warm, very fuzzy, and you don't want to do anything to piss a referral off, because they're going to call your client and say, this, why'd you give my name out to this guy? He called me, was trying to push me with life insurance. Okay, that's not what you want to do. You simply want to reach out to your clients, let them know who you are, let them know that you assisted their sister or their brother. If they ever need life insurance in the future, keep them in mind. And then you can ask, out of curiosity, do you already have plenty of life insurance? Great. Yeah, you know what? That's what Bob and Mary said. One of the things that I can provide with you is a free life insurance checkup. I'll do a 7-point inspection on your insurance policy. Make sure there's no weaknesses in it. I'm sure you got a great policy, but just let a trained set of eyeballs take a look at your policy. Let's make sure there's no weaknesses in it. Make sure it's not going to run out. Make sure the premiums never go up. Okay. And it's a great way, if they have grandchildren, we've got phenomenal policies for grandchildren. So, just get those referrals and then just make sure that you follow up with them. Okay. All right, guys, that is it. This is the segment on how to get more referrals. Before I let you go, and I want to thank you personally, everybody on the call, for plugging in. Does anybody have any questions or comments pertaining to getting referrals? No. All right, fantastic. Yes.
This is Gene.
Hey, Gene Lorenzo.
This past week I was delivering my first policy, and in the course of the conversation, actually the week before when I was talking with her, I determined that she did have an insurance policy on her husband who's been deceased for a year. Come to find out, she had a little coverage that was also a little term rider that was running out in September, I believe. That was the only coverage she had. But she also has a $10,000 due her because she was the beneficiary on her husband. The family has a daughter and a grandson living with this dear old woman who's 78 or 79. And here I was able to help her discover that she has $10,000 worth of insurance coming that they had not sent or submitted a claim in. So I helped her do it, faxed the information in for her, and already got one referral from her, and she's going to come up with a list of others for me.
Gene, that is outstanding. See, not too many agents would do that. A lot of people would just say, oh, well, just call them and see what you can do. But you took the extra step of following up. And that's what I mean about, adding value and going above and beyond and doing more than, if you do more now than what you're getting paid for, you will get paid later for sure. And you know what? And just to add to what you're saying, Gene, that would really be the fourth way to get additional referrals. I know it's hard to deliver every single policy, but what a tremendous way to get additional referrals is doing a policy delivery. And I know with my schedule,